We tend to think that talent determines your legacy as a quarterback. And I'm here to tell you, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Personality dictates your legacy as a quarterback. You think Tom Brady and Joe Montana are the two greatest quarterback talents ever? No, they're not. They had the perfect personality with the coach, the owner, and the GM they work with. Personality will determine your quarterback legacy. Here's a great example. Martellus Bennett, little flaky, but I know him and I like him, has played with Brady and Aaron Rodgers. Tom's the better communicator, therefore the better teammate. Is that surprising? Well, let's look at Tom Brady's history. He comes from a formidable family. When talking about his mother and father, he often cries on camera. He then creates with Giselle an amazing family, which he lets us watch during a documentary. It's remarkable. For two global icons, it's remarkably grounded. And then he goes to the NFL for 18 years, Joy, and creates the greatest family in 2 decades, Kraft, Belichick, Brady. You think that's a coincidence? Great family, still cries about him, creates a great family, and then creates a great family at work. Aaron Rodgers has squabbled with his brother and squabbled with his parents and is single with no kids. He is the great talent. He is the great individual. Aaron Rodgers, as Greg Cosell, somebody I trust who watches every play of every game every year, talks about Aaron Rodgers. And listen to how it sounds like not a teammate, but an individual.
The reality is when you watch Aaron Rodgers, and it takes nothing away from his performances over the years, but he's not truly a rhythm player, Colin. He's kind of an offbeat player, an off-rhythm player. He's more like a jazz beat. He's a second reaction player. And very often there are throws that are there within the rhythm of the play and the timing of the play, and he doesn't make those throws. Now, he might move around and then make another throw, but there are times against really good defenses where that doesn't work. It's tough to be consistent that way against higher-level defenses.
Well, isn't that interesting? Martellus Bennett and Greg Cosell saying the same thing. Oh, he's a remarkable talent, but he's sort of a solo act, an individual often in crisis. When you think of Aaron Rodgers, you think of Hail Marys, Jared Cook throw, you think of individually amazing moments. When you think of Tom Brady, you think of podiums, owner, coach, family, driving, fourth quarter, winning drive with marginal wide receiver talent. This is not a coincidence. When you think of Brett Favre, high-risk quarterback, go read a book about him. Big risk taker, party animal early. Alex Smith, lower ceiling, dependable guy, lower ceiling, dependable quarterback. Go look at the history of the NFL. Talent did not determine Troy Aikman or Peyton Manning. There have been bigger, stronger, faster, better arms. It was their individual passion and commitment and detail that elevated them to 2 of the 5, 6 best quarterbacks I've ever seen play in my life. We get so caught up. Think about this. Think about 2 people, Cam Newton and Jay Cutler. Those are 2 of the best 5 arms in the last decade. But Cam Newton and Jay Cutler are moody people. Well, what does moody mean? It means your personality is inconsistent. I don't know what I get. You know, my girlfriend's moody, meaning when you walk through the doors at the house or the apartment, you're not sure what you get as a personality. She says, my boyfriend's so moody. She walks through the door of the house, the condo. She's not sure what she gets with a personality. Cam and Cutler are moody personalities. And they're inconsistent quarterbacks. Weak quarter half, you don't know what you get with Cam. You don't know what walks through the door with Jay Cutler. It is not a coincidence that Tom Brady, great family, then created a great family, and then created a great NFL family. And Aaron Rodgers, single, no kids, squabbled with family, is the great artist. Hollywood is filled with great artists, often have struggled with family, but they're talented. We get so caught up in talent. That does not determine your quarterback legacy. Your personality will. I can't predict the future like 20, 30 years, but I'm pretty good at predicting my business for the next 10. I don't make 20-year game plans. I mean, things could happen. I could have health issues. The world changes, media, day to day. But I tell my kids all the time, I can kind of figure out what's going to happen the next 5 or 10 years in my business. Beyond that, who knows? 15 years ago, there's no Netflix. It's changed TV. But I can tell you 5 years ago, watch out for Netflix. Here they come. And so I tell my kids all the time, the world doesn't need another sociology major. Find a passion, but I can tell you that the world doesn't need that. So I saw this story. The Raiders are now warming up to the possibility of trading Khalil Mack. And I have mostly blamed Gruden and the Raiders for this. But it should be mentioned that Aaron Donald of the Rams defensive tackle wants $25 million a year. That's what Tom Brady makes. Earl Thomas safety for the Seattle Seahawks. I'm not talking to Pete Carroll or John Snyder, the GM. Defensive players, jobs all over the globe become more and less relevant all the time. Okay, being stubborn is an awful personality trait because the world's changing. And, dog, if you're not changing with it, it's passing you by. Nobody's bigger than a culture. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar would not have been as effective as the best scorer I ever saw in basketball if he played today. They'd say, Kareem, can you shoot a three? No. All right, hit the bench. Fourth quarter, 8 minutes to go. No man's bigger than a culture. You can create a micro culture within a bigger culture. I can have a brand within a company with a big brand, but I'm not bigger than a culture. Okay, defensive players, NFL, hello, the world's changing. Call your teams, talk to your agents. You're not as valuable today. 2 of the top 5 scoring defenses in the NFL met in the Super Bowl, Philadelphia and New England. They punted once in 4 hours. 800 passing yards. Nick Foles looked like John Elway. Nobody can stop anybody. You've got to be available to people based on the urgency and the need of your job. You see it in the movie business all the time now. I can watch stuff at home. The only way you're getting me to a theater, I want to get a cocktail. I want some decent food. I want a better seat. I want it to recline, or I'm not going to the movies. If I'd have told you 30 years ago, you won't want to go to the movies, you'll just stay home and watch TV, you'd be like, hey, that's crazy. They got a big screen. I get these stars. Oh, now I can watch on my terms at home? I mean, I can watch 10 hours of straight TV and binge watch? Okay, movie theaters have had to change. Give me a cocktail. Give me a recliner. I want to walk in. I want a restaurant. You got to give me more. You can't jam me next to somebody. Like every business evolves. Some, like the one I'm in, evolves quickly. We have seen 2 rules in the past couple of months change in the NFL, and they're defensive player killers. Catch rule. For the last 15 years, not a catch, not a catch, not a catch, not a catch, not a catch. This year, that's a catch, that's a catch, that's a catch, that's a catch. That's bad for defensive players. The other rule is helmet rule. Okay. Flag, 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 flag. Automatic first down. Player ejection. That's an anti-defensive rule. These defensive guys, Aaron Donald, Khalil Mack, Earl Thomas. Dude, the world's changing. Newspaper people can't demand a raise now. It's 2018. In the 70s, newspaper guy goes in, there's no cable television. I am the voice of the community. Newspaper guy now walks into his boss and says, please don't fire me. Just keep me for 2 more years. I got a kid in college. NFL players in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. You were the man. But increasingly over the last decade, J.J. Watt gets hurt. Who cares 2 years ago? Texans make the playoffs. Ndamukong Suh, unbelievable, highest paid defensive player. Dolphins can't win with him. Aaron Donald didn't do anything with the Rams until they got McVay and Goff. Now Aaron Donald, he's winning a bunch of games. When they didn't have the coach right and the quarterback right, Aaron Donald wasn't winning games. Here are the highest paid defensive players in the NFL last year. Yeah. You notice how many of those guys made the playoffs? Not many of them. Well, Colin, what about Fletcher Cox? Yeah, I'm going to go with the Eagles were loaded everywhere. Nothing against Fletcher Cox. But, man, you got to evolve on this stuff. These defensive players putting a line in the sand. I will not. I cannot. This is what I want. Not the way the world works. Rule changes. Stubborn is a really, really bad personality trait. The world's changing. Change with it. Wake up. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.